Hey! I want to drink your energon. Welcome back, Transformer TCG fans. It's October. Okay, well, we're going to go over maybe 3 base cards and maybe a new character to trying to add to the game and see what happens. So what we have, we had a huge drop. The last video was over 25 minutes long, and we went through a lot of base cards and a lot of ideas and trying to show you how they might all interact with each other. And again, if you want to, if you're printing any of these out and you're trying to play them, put 9 in your deck, 6 or 9 base cards in your deck, maybe 3 of the same area, 3 of the same areas you want to try to maintain a certain ability or whatever. If it gives it to your opponent also, oops, oh well. Things to think about. Maybe keep if you do sideboard cards, you might maybe have one of your sideboards being maybe also a base card to know what your opponent springs on you, and you're like, I can bring this in the next game if certain conditions are being played, et cetera, et cetera. So things to think about. I know a lot of this stuff is not exactly very. Some of it is very trigger friendly. Some of it is not. I will admit that. Some of these are kind of glass cannons or like Russian roulette. You just never know. Some of them are pretty easy. This next one, Well of Sparks, is pretty easy. It's a green pip only, so no traits, no extra stuff pip-wise going on here, no hybrids. But each bot mode has bold 1 and tough 1 for battle. If someone has made that like a something like the opposite of oppress or something, like an ability, let me know. I haven't heard of anything, but it's not just for everybody. It is for everybody, but it's for everybody in bot mode. So we're going to get bold 1 and tough 1. So once you play this at the start of your turn, before you get to draw for turn, because that's still how they probably should be played, and are still considered one of the 2 cards you can play for turn, not to be played on your first turn. So there's that still should retain. You shouldn't be able to play a base card if you have one in your hand on your first turn, whether it's your first turn or the opponent's first turn. Okay, so none of these can be played until the second full turn of the game. Just as a reminder. So as oppress 1, keeps can oppress everybody on the table. Well, maybe not everybody on the table, but whoever's battling the character with oppress, then yeah, it's going to keep both characters from being able to have bold 1 or tough 1, or well, not bold and tough, but from flipping 1 more for attack or defense. Really is kind of what that means, I believe. But so each bot mode has bold 1 and tough 1 for battle. So once you put this in play, yeah, you're automatically giving your opponent, if they are defending in bot mode, tough 1. So play this smartly and try to go into an opponent's character that is not in bot mode, and you'll be okay, even though it's still tough and Pierce gets through defense. Unless they're playing secret actions or a character that can't take Pierce or something like that, Then there's this. When a character is untapped by a battle card, the active player scraps an equipped upgrade from the untapped character. This is actually simpler than it sounds. So when a character is untapped by a battle card, that's probably going to be the active player anyway. And then when you do, you have to scrap an upgrade, an equipped upgrade from the untapped character. So again, this is like kind of a sideboard issue here. If you're wanting to untap your own characters, you're not going to want the Well of Sparks, even though it is great for giving bold one, tough one for your when you're attacking or defending in bot mode. But if you're playing, if ready for action in your deck, this would not be a good thing. But if you're, I almost said customer, if your opponent is untapping their characters, the lower star characters with ready for action or anything else, then yeah, that's a different story. Grimlock. Grillenheimer, what if I have your Weightlessness card in my deck and I play Weightlessness. I'm untapping one of my characters and the opponent gets to untap one of theirs too. Well, yeah, but again, only the active player is going to have to scrap an equipped upgrade from the character they untapped. The opponent doesn't have to do that. So there is that. Now, at the same time, you're going to need a deck. I'm going a little long with Will of Sparks. I apologize. With plenty of upgrades for sure. But again, this is really to try to kind of screw around with your opponent more than anything. If you are trying to, I believe it is my combiner Tripedicus. I think it's Tripedicus that I've made, where there's kind of a stratagem tower kind of card that once you have scrapped 9 upgrades, then you're able to combine into the big guy, Tripedicus. So if you're trying to do that and get a Tripedicus built, then yeah, the Will of Sparks is actually going to be good for you. You're going to want that. You're going to want all those types of cards that can scrap upgrades, etc. You're going to want that in order to build Tripedicus quicker. So play ready for action, untap some of those characters because they're less than 10 stars, obviously. There's only 4 of them, but still, you're going to be able to untap characters, scrap upgrades, get those counters on that little thing, and get him built possibly pretty early. So, there's the Well of Sparks. So there's that. And anybody else that actually has an ability or an upgrade that allows some sort of neat or key trigger that with an upgrade is scrapped and something can happen, then the Will of Sparks is for you. Wheat Farm is next. I went a little long with Will of Sparks. I apologize. Wheat Farm is white and green. Green is only the Insecticons can get this on the flip, and with Arc Exodus out, I'm hearing the Insecticons are kind of back in a way. So that's good to know. So this might be a base card for you if you're to see how this works. Each Insecticon and Beast has tough 1 for battle. So this isn't going to help you until you start defending. So you better hope it doesn't get scrapped early on your opponent's when your opponent plays comes up. So when at least a green pip is flipped by the defender for battle, the attacking player may scrap an equipped upgrade and do 1 damage to an enemy character. So, and yes, this is defender and attacker. You can be the defender, and if you flip a green pip, you can scrap an upgrade and do 1 damage to an enemy character. If you're attacking your opponent and your opponent flips at least a green pip, they can scrap an upgrade and do 1 damage to one of your characters. It goes either way. And was looking at some of the Insecticon type cards. Green pips seem to be kind of key for them, so I thought this was a good way of incorporating that to getting, scrapping an upgrade and getting non-attack damage on your attacker that way. Because again, this is a base card. It's affecting the whole battlefield. Between it can help you, it can help them. So this is a very pretty well-balanced base card in itself. So even if it's in your deck, you can still draw it. Just make sure you got some extra draw power a little bit going on there. The last one we're going to go over, and maybe a character here, is Wheeljack's Lab. I think we've gone over this before. It is black and green. Each specialist has... That's the cat in a litter box. I'm sorry. Each specialist has stealth while untapped. So each specialist has stealth while untapped. Pretty simple. Just as the first blanket kind of trigger here to help them, because generally our specialists don't have a lot of health, so that might help them a little bit. Green pip action or upgrade cards cannot be played by either player, so this is going to help oppress or keep your opponent from playing, like maybe building up attack drones or extra paddings and stuff like that, or anything else. But actions and upgrades, so it's not going to prevent base cards. It's not going to do anything crazy like that. I think, was it Unicron or something that we went over last that did something? No, it wasn't Unicron. But anyway, so that's Wheeljack's Lab. And so that's really all I have time for to go over. Let's go over... Let's go over... See, we went over G2 Autobot Jazz already, and Cloud Cover, and G-Axis. Let's look at Nemesis Leo Prime. I almost called him Dark Leo Convoy, is what I almost named him, but I didn't. Trying to look up this character a little bit, and I have seen the new version, the new figure of this. And this is the American name for it that I've seen in Walmart, Nemesis Leo Prime. I almost named him like Dark Leo Convoy or something like that, but I didn't. Oh gosh, his mane is a little washed out. Maybe I should have tried darkening it up or coloring it or something, but I didn't. Dark Copy Warrior. He's a 10-star character because he is a Prime. That is a leader, a beast, and melee. See here, with 4 attack, 13 health, and 2 defense. I think there was an Optimus Prime that I was kind of loosely modeling this one off with. 5 to attack in bot mode, and his defense goes down to 1 in bot mode. In alt mode, he does have bold 1. When you flip to this mode, each of your other characters with a matching trait as this gets Pierce 1 until end of turn. So, yeah, it's kind of similar to that Bumblebee that, when you flip him to Car, he gives everybody Pierce 1, which really isn't much. So, great with maybe defensive Pierce decks and some upgrades that give additional Pierce. Maybe throw in a base card or 2 that helps out with Pierce maybe. Thinking about Pierce, and maybe adding a couple of secret action cards that helps take away Pierce from your attacker, like Fizzle or something like that. Or, oh goodness, I made one called Heavy Cover. Is it Stable Cover? Does that take away Pierce also? Things to think about. So, yeah, I was it may be a 10-star. He's got some decent stats and decent traits. So you're going to want to put in other characters with the leader trait or the melee trait. If you keep advertising these cards, Grillenheimer, about the honorary key card and floating throne, if that makes them a leader and you flip Nemesis Leo Prime, I'm so sorry, the cat is just wanting to scratch the outside of the litter box like a nut. I just cleaned that litter box last night. Goodness. So, sorry about that, guys. So, yeah, you can have those cards in, I guess. Again, instead of trying to have only a minimum of 40 cards, maybe we should go for 45, maybe go for 50. That's going to decrease the probability chances of pulling cards you want to play, but it's going to give you more options of being able to do some other things. So, maybe not a 60 card deck like Pokemon or something like that, but, and they do base, the ARC ATP guys, they base everything in their probability of chance on a 40 card deck. Which is fine because it gives you the higher probability of pulling what you want to play up against certain other decks of other types, and they go into great lengths to test that, which is just amazing. I can't believe they have that kind of time to do that kind of testing. But at the same time, I'm just like, only having 40 cards in your deck seems very restrictive to me. So I don't know, Sarah, but pick other characters with the leader trait. Maybe have some of those cards that can add the leader trait to your characters, or a beast trait, or a melee trait. If you're still keeping to the 25-star rule, then you have 15 stars left over, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, you could add in an Autobot that, because only Autobots can equip the honorary key card. That's what 7 stars or less, and make them leaders if they're not already leader, like a 6-star Bumblebee, whatever. So there's that. Let's flip Nemesis Leo Prime over and stop yapping. Dark Copy Warrior here. In bot mode, he's a leader, and now he's a ranged character. So that trait changes, and now he has tough 1. Just a blanket tough 1 in bot mode. But each of your other characters with at least one matching trait as this gets focus 1 for battle when a character on your team is in the KO. So you're probably going to be 3 wide with this guy. Or maybe 2 wide. Well, not 2 wide. I guess you could if you wanted some star cards in your deck. But then if you're only 2 tall, each of your other characters, then no one is getting that focus. So you definitely need to be at least 3 wide. One of those other characters needs to be KO'd, and then you can get focus 1. So you might, maybe a better route would be have this 10-star character leader with 3 other 5-star characters, and maybe get a Flame War in there and 2 other 5-star characters, like from a combiner team or something, Braun or whoever. I don't know. Well, Braun in 1 mode does be able to get additional Pierce. So, and then flipping Nemesis Leo Prime here to bot mode is, and he's got this melee trait. Braun is a melee trait character. If I remember correctly, that's just a 5-star character or 6-star, 5 or 6-star character. Then boom, he's going to get that extra Pierce of 1 from Nemesis Leo Prime here. And it's only Pierce 1. I didn't do, additional Pierce to how many traits match up or anything like that, so that's not going on here. It's just just 1 Pierce. So for a 10-star character, is this worth it? I'm not sure, but I didn't want to make him too overly complicated or anything. Oh crap, I gotta log in for work. So alt mode, he's got bold 1. Bot mode, he has automatic tough 1. So either way, unless he's being oppressed by a base card or another character he's attacking, then you're automatically going to be able to flip 3 cards either way for either mode, which that's kind of nice. That is kind of nice, even if you're not giving anyone focus or Pierce 1. So what do you think? We got to go over a little bit, went a little over time here, but Well of Sparks for what it is. Wheat Farm, which is a little different. I don't know if I like that secondary ability there. Wheeljack's Lab for giving your specialist stealth, and kind of oppressing green pip action and upgrade cards. Wink, wink. Might be a little strong. And Nemesis Leo Prime here. Let me know what you think. Throw scraplets at the like button. And as always, we'll see you next time. Autobots, flip out and let's roll for it. I don't think so, Prime.